Hey everyone, welcome back to the workshop. Artisan Pirate here, and in today's fun scroll saw project video, I have another amazing design by Steve Good. I've already got the pattern printed out to its full size, prepped and attached to our material wood clear packing tape, and it's going to be for 4th of July. Now, America's birthday is fast approaching here in the good old United States of America. It's a little over a week away, and I felt that this project here would be an appropriate design to come out into the workshop and make. Please keep in mind this is an older Steve Good design, so you might have to go through his catalog some. It features the letters USA in a nice big bold font, and then it has the American flag, the stars and stripes, superimposed on it, so I thought this would be a really cool project to cut out and make. The material we're using is a little over 3/4 inches in thickness, so once this project is done, it can easily freestand on a shelf, desk, or countertop of its own accord. And you can go the extra mile and add a nice decorative base if you wanted to in a design like this, but really cool. The material we're using came out of the scrap bin, and I'm unsure of what kind of material this is, unfortunately. I thought when I was running it through the thickness planer that it was poplar, but it didn't mill like poplar and it doesn't smell like poplar, and I also know it's not maple because it milled really smoothly through all of the saws and through the thickness planer and everything. But one thing I loved about it, it does have this bit of spalting here. You can see it's bigger over here on the side of the U. When you get to the A, it kind of tapers down kind of like an arrow, but I felt that once we cut everything out, got it sanded, and then clear coated, it would really have an added extra feature and artistic element to it with that spalting going through the middle of it. And since all that's left to do is drill all of our pilot holes so we can start scrolling, let's move the camera and do that now. And over here on the workbench, we will take the Seiko scroller's drill and drill out all of the pilot holes for the internal cuts. And you will notice that I have a backer board behind the scroll work to prevent blowout of the pilot holes. But once all of the pilot holes are drilled out, we can head over to the scroll saw and begin scrolling. For all of the scrolling on this project, I will be using a number 5 Ultra reverse tooth blade, and they will cut through this material exceptionally well with minimal chip out, which is always good when it comes time for sanding. And again, I do not know what this material is, but it is scrolling exceptionally well. If you guys would like to try this pattern, it's available as a free pattern download over at Steve Good's scrollsawworkshop.blogspot.com website over in his free pattern catalog. And it is one of his older designs. And some of you guys had been asking for more closer footage of me cutting, and I hope this suffices for you guys. We are working on these stars here, and you can see how I am tackling those. I'm doing those all in a series of small V cuts here for each of the 5 points on all of the stars. It does take a little bit of time to go about it in this manner, but when I do it this way, they all come out nice and crisp and all look very uniform. But again, I hope this footage here works for you guys from this camera angle. But we will just go through here and work on these stars. If you guys like what you're seeing, I would highly encourage you to subscribe to my channel and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. I'd really appreciate the support. And from this far away angle, I hope you guys can see the modification I done for that pin on the back of the Rikon scroll saw. I have a wire threaded through it in that piece of wood there on the wall, and you can see it goes down beside the scroll saw to where I can easily just give it a quick tug, and it helps me drop the arm back down without having to reach back each time and disengage that pin. I am working on something better to where maybe that wire can go down underneath the workbench to maybe a foot switch to where I can pull and have enough tension on it to pop that pin and be able to just use my foot for it instead of having to pull on the wire each time. But it has helped tremendously over here on the scroll saw, and I can quickly rock and roll without having to reach back each time. As always, I am taking my time and letting the blade do the work. And it took me around 30 to 35 minutes to scroll this project out from start to finish. But now we can begin with that long final outside perimeter cut, which will release the piece from the waste wood. We always look forward to hearing the 4th of July fireworks here in Burlington, North Carolina. They do those at the ball field and then the local city park as well. So you can hear fireworks going off on both sides of the town. And as you can see here, I am being as loyal as I can be to that cut line. But after all of the scrolling is done, we can head over to the workbench and remove the piece from the waste wood and get our first visual. And then I will head over to sanding. And I will use 180 grit Klingspor Woodworking Shop sandpaper and my vibrating palm sander. And I'll sand the front and back of both sides. And then we will take it outside into the bright summer sun and give it several coats of Rust-Oleum clear gloss, and the color really popped on this piece, and when it dried, the project was complete. And here we have the completed USA Patriotic piece, cut out completely from start to finish over on the scroll saw, and it finished up amazingly well with some beautiful details just in time for 4th of July 2024. Thank you, Steve Good, once again for another fantastic design from your pattern catalog. Once again, this is one of his older pattern offerings, and I just like to periodically take my time and go through all eras of his catalog, not just the new stuff, but also look back at the older stuff and pick out projects from that era of the catalog and hopefully bring them to life in a justified manner over here on the channel. It took me around 35 to 45 minutes to scroll this project out from start to finish. It's not a very complex design, and the most tedious part to cut out on it, of course, is the stars there in the U. And in today's video, you guys seen how I go about cutting out stars. Traditionally, when you do an internal cut on a scroll saw, you just drill the pilot hole and you follow that perimeter line to release that little bit of waste wood and proceed on and so forth. But with the stars, I drill a pilot hole and go through each star in a series of V cuts, because it would be hard to drill a pilot hole and go through all of those hairpin turns in one go. But with a series of small V cuts for all 5 of the points, all of the stars come out nice and crisp. It's a little bit tedious and time consuming to do it that way, but I hope the results speak for themselves. All of those stars there are very nice and very uniform. And I really love how the spalton goes through the center of this project. I was eager to see how this project was going to finish up. It starts here in the U and tapers down throughout the whole piece into the A there. And the Rust-Oleum clear gloss we added at the end really brought out the textures of the material we used here today. And again, I'm unfamiliar with what this material is. It is a little over 3/4 inches in thickness, but when I was milling it down on the table saw and thickness planer, I discovered how soft the material was. So I know it's not poplar, and I know it's not maple because, again, of the softness, and it scrolled exceptionally well over on the scroll saw with no burn marks or catches or anything like that. So I'd love to find some more of this material. If any of you guys know, just by looking at it here, you know what kind it is and can let me know. Of course, with that spalton in it, I didn't want to add any kind of extra color to the project, but of course, with all scroll saw projects, you have the option to paint or stain it. You could cut this out of just a single piece of material and stain it a different color. You could cut it out of a different exotic wood and let that natural color shine through once you add a finish to it. And of course, with all scroll saw projects, you can cut it out and paint it. I feel it would be appropriate to paint this color a nice red, white, and blue color for an extra and added patriotic flair. For displaying options, as I said, with it being a little over 3/4 inches in thickness, it can easily freestand on a shelf, desk, or countertop of its own accord, but you can go the extra mile and add a decorative base if you want to do that with this project as well. For another display option, and thinking a little bit outside of the box when it comes to a design like this, if you would stack cut some of these and make these out of thinner material, maybe 1/8 or 1/4 inch material, you could easily use these and hang these up with red, white, and blue banners for 4th of July. You could add these as a centerpiece for a table display if they were thinner material. And going a little bit farther, if you know a florist in your life, I know my grandmother done floral arrangements for a time, you could use this as a centerpiece for a red, white, and blue flower arrangement for the 4th of July. So always a lot of multiple uses for scroll saw woodworking patterns. You just have to, again, think a little bit outside of the box. But now that it's done and the 4th of July is a little over a week away, I can set it in the windowsill at the front of the house, and when the holiday is over, I can bring it back out to the workshop and display it on the scroll saw display wall that is out here that people see when they come in the door. But I had a lot of fun in today's video, and I hope you guys like watching me make this video. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe to it, and also follow me across all my social medias under the Artisan Pirate name. As always, links to contact me as well as all my social medias will always be linked down in the description box below these videos. That's about all for this one. I hope you all have a happy and safe 4th of July holiday if you are over here in the good old USA. Remember guys, if I can make it or do it, so can you. I'm the Artisan Pirate. Take care, and I'll see you guys real soon.